So Arsenal's first Champions League game for what, 7 years?
Wow. Bloody hell, that long, eh?
That long. Champions League anthem at the Emirates for the first time in 7 years. The actual only place in London to watch Champions League football this season, by the way. Unlucky Tottenham. Yeah, unlucky. But resounding victory, 4-0. Bukayo Saka took 8 minutes to get his first Champions League goal, which is 27 games less than Cristiano Ronaldo and 5 less than Messi. I'm not saying he's on that level, but listen, what a performance!
Hey, if he wants to be, he could, because as I said before, I think I nearly had a heart attack when he got substituted with about 15 minutes to go. I thought, because when at first when Smith Rowe came on the pitch, you were thinking, all right, maybe it's going to be Saka, but I think when the game's won, he made some good substitutions. But starting off for the game, that's our best performance this season. Yep. You could take the negatives, if you like, and say PSV were terrible, but you have to punish teams from the start. We pressed really well. And I think that the reason why the key to our performance was 2 players. First and foremost, from an attacking point of view, Jesus creates a lot of movement, a lot of space for people to run into. And I think, when I said on the podcast about how Jesus is probably going to be better suited to play with Havertz than probably with Eddie, and I think that could have showed. But the team with Havertz has got to be more selfish. He's got to have a situation. If you're in the ground now, everyone was winning that guy to score. We badly wanted. Even though we have different opinions about his effectiveness and what he does after the ball, and there was one instance where I think where he got played through, and if he was hungry enough, he could have carried on, but he stopped, and then the chance is gone. There was quite a few of these instances, but he did look more involved. I think that's a positive you can look at. He's more involved. But in terms of performance-wise, Jesus makes us a better side. Got to keep him fit. And Rice is a revelation. I know he didn't have much say. A lot of saves went straight at him, but it's the mentality of what he brings to the team. The defence looks more assured with him in the side. There's no panic in there. Whenever he gets the ball, he gives it to a red shirt, simple. And when he goes long, it goes straight to one of our players. People say, a lot of people are divided about whether he's getting the game. They think that it's only a temporary situation where they're going to take keepers. But I just can't see a way back for Aaron Ramsdale and his team. And when you looked at him when he came on and trained with the team, trained with his subs, just before at a half-time interval, he looks really downtrodden.
They panned in on him. And I said this to Ian Oller on the Watchdog. I don't know if they have an iPad in the back of the chair on the bench.
Of course they do. Or
whether he's got one down there watching the game. But the last 2 times they've panned in on him, today and at Everton, he knows he's on camera.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he don't know what to do with himself because he knows the camera's on him. But for me, that David Raya, I know he didn't have a great deal to do today, and PSV were worse than they were last season because they got rid of their best 2 players. Xavi Simons and Gakpo.
Gakpo, yeah. Gakpo in January,
Yeah, they got rid of both of them. So they were poor, right? But as soon as we got that first goal, it was like, right, now let's kick on. Yeah, the level of the goals tonight is what I was so impressed with. Right, Trossard's goal, Saka mishit his, and if he hit it sweet, it kind of kicks it into. If he hits it sweet, he probably don't score.
Of course not.
Again, Odegaard taking the shot, being effective, resulted in a goal. Trossard's goal, what a finish, mate!
Well, definitely, he justified. I think what's happened. You got to remember one thing. If you want a replacement for Martinelli, forget he's not a Martinelli. He hasn't got Martinelli's pace. But what he does have is that he has the ability to follow the space that is created by us making the runs. He knows how to run into space. He's got good feet. He knows how to do the one side, and his positioning in terms of in goal is different towards Martinelli. And he had a very, very strong game. You mentioned Martin Odegaard, the great goal he scored. The thing with Martin Odegaard, right, is that we've been hard on him, and rightly so, because we expect more of a player of that ability. But I say it once, say it 1,000 times. Look at what this guy's given us in the last couple of years compared to what we wanted from Mesut Ozil. And you look at Martin Odegaard, right? He hasn't got Mesut Ozil's footballing ability, not by a mile. But the numbers, the effectiveness, and his effects on the football matches is tenfold more than Ozil. And that And that's why you cannot decide. He deserves every kind of plaudits that we gave him last week, last few times, and we endorsed the fact he's got a new contract. But today, he's not going to shout his plays. He's not going to lead by example. But in terms of wanting the ball, wanting to create something, there's levels I think he can go to as well. I think if we can keep him fit and he keeps on progressing like the way he does, especially, and obviously with Saka, we could be a very, very, very good side. But the litmus test is always going to be not so much Tottenham at home, because sometimes it's more of a litmus test for Spurs this Sunday than it is for us. But Man City is always the litmus test until it's time. Obviously, you want to take one game at a time, and you really should. But these are sort of the games where, when you look at the team selection, the fact that Tierney can't get a game, Tierney's gone on loan, you look at the fact that Ramsdale's been dropped, you've got to think long term about how you want to move the ball, how you want to progress, and how you want to get your best players into the game. And sometimes, as much as I'm Arteta's biggest critic, and so are you, I'm beginning to understand the footballing reason behind the Ramsdale dropping. Because as sad it is for Aaron, and obviously for his family, because they're very big supporters of these, sometimes the club's got to come first.
Oh, mate, not sometimes, all the time.
All the time, yeah.
You always say it. Your motto is the club is the star, Kenny.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The club is the star.
Decisions, and if that means that he ends up leaving the football club, so be it. And
the thing is that the thing about it is that the evidence over the last season has been there for a change to be made. You look at the goals he concedes. Look at the fact that you look at Raya. If we misplace a pass back to him, he's got the confidence and the footballing ability to turn that into a no panic situation. Now, with Ramsdale, if you do that, it more than likely leads to a chance or a goal, and that's what the manager's looking for. And I think that's where you have to endorse the decision. And as a defence, you look at our last two performances defensively. We were fantastic today. Yeah, we didn't have much to do, but the times when we were under threat, we were defending as a unit. When the ball came in, we made sure that we got rid of, cleared our lines in terms of in a sensible way. And then when we cleared our lines, it went straight to a red shirt. And it's the same with Everton on Sunday. And that's where you look at it, and we look more solid now defensively. And then it's all linking up. But again, the litmus test is always going to be Sunday, because would the same personnel play on Sunday? Would you play Havertz instead of
I'd never play
on
Havertz,
Sunday?
I totally disagree with what you said about Havertz. Like, I know everyone's willing him to score.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Backstage, and I said it on my fan cam. Just go and watch him for 90 minutes.
Don't get it wrong.
He was played in between players, so he couldn't get the ball from Saliba. When he's off because everyone keeps waffling, Kenny, about his off the ball work and what he's doing off the ball. Me and Matty and Ola were sat there going, right, let's just watch Havertz for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Get the ball, right? So we're on the edge of our box and he's jogging. He don't know, he's not looking. He ain't got wing. He's not looked to at once. Now runners are off him. Then he's jogging. Then he's standing still. Then he's when we've got the ball, instead of pulling back, he runs into between a 10-yard gap of two players. Saliba now can't give him the ball, because if he does and they nick it, we're effed. So instead of pulling back 5 yards from between them and fizzing a ball into him, and now we're on the get-go, he's runing into mate. I think the second half, that was clear. That was I could see a lot of that, and it was evident in the second half. But there were other things that did frustrate me a bit, where he got into his positions, and like you're talking about hiding from a sort of like positional sense. I think there were times when he hid, when he got himself to positions where he could have had a shot and goal, where he gave the responsibility to other players. He was trying to give the responsibility to Jesus, and I think, and sometimes he probably scores.
Yeah, and I think that's where the situation is, where he's tentative. He's still too tentative when he plays against us. I think in front of goal he's tentative, but in terms of like the example you made, it's 100% true. There are times when I was thinking, hang on here, we've got Jesus who's created a lot of space for you, but you're still trying to play a bit deep. And I'm thinking, hang on, that's not required. We need you closer, because when Saka gets the ball in offensive positions, and when Odegaard gets the ball in offensive positions, that's the signal for Kai to make those runs at the box. Because I was having a go at Smith Rowe when he came on, when he weren't doing it, because the simple reason is that when they get the ball, and they're trying to, like I said, play diagonal balls. They're waiting for you to make that run. If you don't, hey, you're all right, man. I'm all good. If you don't make that run, then what happens is the ball keeps them able to go back into the midfield, and then we have to start a move again. But even so, there was an instance with the fourth goal where Smith Rowe doesn't make that run into the box, and he's drifted out wide, and we think we lose a chance. But Reece Nelson rescues it. Smith Rowe gets the ball again, gives it over goal. We score a fourth goal. So sometimes, even though we waste the opportunity to get into those incisive areas, sometimes on a second phase of play, we could create a goal. But that's because I think PSV lost a bit of confidence. They were a bit naive in the way they attacked, and we exploited them. But that's how we got to play all season. It's not going to be possible. But if you keep your best players fit and you play, then you've got a chance. Obviously, there's going to be there's going to be a decision to make when Partey comes back fully fit. Because where do you play Partey? Do you play him, or do you leave him on the bench because Declan Rice is looking like $1 million? But the question is, do you pay £105 million for Declan Rice to play like he did for West Ham and not lit a cigar? I think not. I think you at £105 million, you probably want him to show a different dimension to his game. You probably want him to play a bit more forward and try him in a number 8 position. And that's not me protecting Partey. I just think for £105 million, I think I'd like more, because I think Declan Rice is capable of it.
He is, definitely, 100%. Very quickly before we wrap this up, because I know you've got to get home as well. It's late. Yeah. And I know you weren't soaked because there's a nice overhang where you sit.
No. I tell a lie. We shat ourselves. Excuse my language, because I don't want you to get in trouble. But when we came out the ground, we were all outside the stadium, waiting patiently. I was glad, right, that you didn't send the link. I was playing, please don't send the link. Please don't send the link. I want to get away. So when you actually sent the link, it was like manna from heaven, because it was actually a lot drier. It's still spitting a bit, but it was treacherous. We're talking like let's just say we're talking like tropical floods after the match.
Absolutely, man. Very quickly, man of the match for you tonight.
I put my man in the match. I'm going to have to. Well, it's between Jesus. I'm going to give it. I sent Odegaard in my little Instagram thing. I'm still sticking by that, but I think that I'm probably going to change my mind and say Jesus, because of how he brought energy to our attack, and he created space for players. And Havertz had an open goal to open in terms of getting in that space. He didn't take his chance. He's got to take his chance at Arsenal, mate. We want you to do well, mate. We want to be proved wrong, but you're running out of time, mate.
100%. Listen, get home safe, man. Dry yourself off, and love you, mate.
Love you too, mate. We'll speak soon, 100%.
See you later, mate.